Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Leader Tips by _E. Today, we are on episode 15, where we are spending some time talking about I feel stuck. I feel stagnant in my career. Trust me, I have had my fair share of times where I truly just felt stuck. I felt boxed in. I felt marginalized. You're probably wondering, well, what does marginalized mean? Marginalized it really happens for a lot of underrepresented talent in an organization. So it could be people of color, women, people with varying abilities and disabilities, people who love differently, where we typically feel boxed in or denied certain professional privileges or opportunities based solely on our identity. Truly, it does happen. I know you don't think it does, and it happens. And so what I am going to do today is I am going to share with you 3 indicators you might are being marginalized, and that's why you feel like you can't move laterally or up in corporate America. I've had over 20 years of experience working in this space, and so I'm going to share 3 things that have happened to me and also happened to other people I've talked to. And then I'm also going to end sharing with you what are some things you can do, what are some things you can implement so that you can shift the trajectory of your career. So the 3 things that typically happen at some point in time when it comes to your career. You receive only appreciative feedback. You get no feedback to very vague feedback. And number 3, you're never asked for your feedback. Let's take a dive into number 1, only appreciative feedback. Now, I know that you're probably thinking, well, that's good. I mean, I just hear all the things I do well. Well, you know what? It's good and it's not great. And the reason it's not great is because if your leader really sees more for you, they're going to up the expectations. We know that we are imperfect people, and so all of us have opportunities to grow, to shift, and to change, and to do better. If your leader is looking at you for other roles, then they're going to start to come to you and say things like, you did this really well. And I would love for you to focus on this. Let's build this skill set in order to get you to the next level in your career. Only receiving appreciative feedback is not the best case scenario. Number 2, very vague feedback to none at all. Very vague feedback could sound like, great job. Well, guess what? You can't do great job again. And so you don't know specifically, what does that mean? They didn't even watch you or observe you enough to really give you specific detailed feedback. That's why they just said, great job. Hey, I want you to continue to be in that project management role. I want you to continue to be a trainer. That's it. I ain't seeing you for nothing else. So great job. It's just a way to just keep you kind of excited. And then no feedback. Now, this happens a lot and it's sad. It could truly be that you have a leader who's inexperienced with giving feedback altogether, and definitely inexperienced with giving constructive or helpful feedback. Or you truly can have an incompetent leader. They don't even know the first thing about giving feedback. And sometimes it's truly, they don't even have you on their mind. If their executive team comes to them and say, hey, who do you feel we should promote up? Who is the next leader? You don't even come to their mind at all. They don't observe you. They don't give you any kind of feedback because you just don't come to their mind. And more than likely, you're doing your job and what you're doing now, and they don't feel you're doing anything unique or special. And then the 3rd one, you're not asked for your feedback. This is what started to happen to me a lot. So they wanted me to continue to do all the things I was doing. And while I was doing the things that I was doing, then I had a fan base of people who loved me. And as soon as I started to ask questions so that I can be a part of the strategic planning of a course, what audience should we tackle? What questions should we ask? When I wanted to be in the room to share perspectives on ways to really take what I did day in and day out to the next level, my feedback was never asked for. And a lot of times that's because they want to continue to keep you doing what you're doing, and they don't want to let you in the room to have a voice to now provoke different thoughts and ideas, to be more strategic, to really drive the business forward. And so you're never asked for feedback. Listen, just shut up and dance to the beat of the drum I've already prepared for you. That's all I want you to do. So now let's talk about what are some key, unique things you can do. I must share with you that this is not on them. It's all on you. This is another one of those circumstances where you really do have a lot of power and control. And my hope is that I'm able to provide you with some key and some tangible steps that would help you to shift the trajectory of your career. The first ones, when it comes to only appreciative feedback and also no to very vague feedback, the first thing you must do is you must get real with yourself and understand, what do you want from a career perspective? Write it out. What do you want? What do you need to learn? What skill do you need to enhance? What opportunities do you need to be opened up to you for you to demonstrate this new skill set? What are the unique and strategic goals and plans you have to move you further in your career? So you have to become very clear about, what does your career look like in 6 months? What about 12 months? What about 24 months? And you have to then have the conversation with your leader. You take ownership of that. Now, let me tell you the part they take ownership in is when you ask them questions about, what else would you like to add to this plan? You want to get them invested. You want to get them involved. What else would you recommend me to do? What other courses should I take? You want to get some feedback from them because that shows mutual interest. Once you do that, you need to now let your leader know that you want to get some helpful and constructive feedback to move you to the next level, if that's what you want to do. Or if it's a lateral move, you want constructive feedback on those skills as well. So you ask them, and it could sound something like, Tina, thank you so much for helping to shape out my career goals over the next couple of years. I really want to take my presentation skills to the next level. One of the things I want to focus on is eliminating filler words. More specifically, I want to eliminate ums. I also want to eliminate like. Would you please carve out some time over the next 2 weeks to observe me present or in team meetings? And whenever I say or like, please make a tick mark of it. And I would love for you to give me some constructive feedback. Tell me what I can do differently to take my presentation skills to the next level. And so basically, you're letting them know it's okay. And sometimes as women, especially women of color, that's what we have. People of color, we have to let people know it's okay to give us feedback that's constructive, because that tells me you care. Okay. And then the very last thing is more of a follow-up on that. And I'm going to do a whole nother video about how to take control of your career. And that's when we'll talk more about that. The very last one, though, number 3, when it comes to them not asking you for feedback, this is where you have to involve your leader again. So you did the first part. You were very clear on your expectations from a career perspective. You shared that feedback with Tina. You've asked Tina what else she can do to pour into your career development. You've asked Tina to give you some constructive feedback, and you were very specific on the feedback you wanted. You also can just say, hey, Tina, after you watch my presentation today, would you please give me one thing I can do differently? And still the moral of the story is you're letting Tina know it's okay. So you've done all those things. And now you want to be in the room when decisions are made, when initiatives are planned. And so you can just ask Tina, hey, Tina, I would love an opportunity to share the perspective that you and I have been talking about with the leadership team. How can we make that happen? Is there a way for me to partner with you and go to the next meeting with you? You just have to ask. Or, hey, Tina, I would love an opportunity to speak with the CIO to share this perspective I've been sharing with you the last couple of weeks. Can you get us connected? You have to ask. You have to ask. So today we've talked about three things. We've talked about three things that happen when you are marginalized. You get nothing but appreciative feedback, you get vague to no feedback, and you're never asked for your feedback. I've talked to you about some solutions. The first thing is you have to be very set on your career goals, aspirations. You need to make sure you communicate that with your leader. You need to ask them for their buy-in. What else would they encourage you to do to move your career forward? You need to have touch points and touch bases for that to follow up on it. I'll do a whole nother thing on careers, on moving your career in another video. You also need to ask for detailed, constructive, and helpful feedback to invite them to give it to you. And then you need to ask if you can join Tina with you. You know, if you can just join and actually be on a call or be in the room so you can start to share your perspective. And guess what? No one else has to try to articulate your message. I'll do a whole nother video on that too. When they try to take your message and share it, it don't always work. So thank you all so much. If this video was meaningful, I would love for you to like or comment. If you feel like it will help someone else, please share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much. Have a good one. Bye.